This episode is made possible by the generous support of my patrons at patreon.com/SayGoodnightKev and by viewers like you. Thanks! Well, Christmas is over, and what better way to kick off a whole new year of movie nights than with a Christian football movie. All of that and more coming up right now on Movie Night Football. Sports. Well, with football season just wrapping up, there's no better time for me to tackle some of the Christian football films you've been asking me to cover for quite some time now. But Kevin, how can you do a review of a football movie when you never even talk about football on your show? Do you even understand football? Do you even understand the rules? Seriously? I grew up in the United States. As much as you football hipsters would like to think that football is some special niche sport that nobody's heard about, it's not. In fact, growing up here in the US, watching football with the family was pretty much unavoidable. And believe it or not, I've even been known to cheer for a team or two. Basically, what I'm saying is, even though I do believe that football is pretty ridiculous and pointless, and I'm probably not gonna be able to list off the entire 2015 NFL roster, I do know how the game works. Kevin, how can you be negative about football? It's the greatest thing ever. It teaches discipline, teamwork, respect for others, sportsmanlike conduct, color coordination. How did this guy get in here on movie night? Dude, you're supposed to just be on Say Goodnight Kevin. I don't even want you there. I just never understood, why would I risk bodily injury going out and playing a game I don't want to play when I can just sit at home and watch a movie about a game I don't want to play? It's not like there aren't plenty of them to choose from. Seriously, there are a ton of Christian football films. I actually didn't realize this when I went looking for Christian football films to review for this month. Which is good, I guess, because if you guys like my football month, then it means that I can do it again next year. And if you don't, we can pretend this whole thing never happened. So since I couldn't do all of the Christian football films, I decided that I would go with the one that I get asked to review the most, Facing the Giants. So when I did my review of Fireproof, I said something like this. I've gotten a lot of kickback from people saying that I just haven't given Christian movies a fair chance, that I only review bad Christian movies. One of the movies that has been suggested in my comments section by many of these critics is the film Fireproof. Well, I received a few comments letting me know that apparently I had watched the wrong Kendrick Brothers film. The Kendrick Brothers, at this point, are now two of the biggest heavy hitters in the Christian film industry, gaining a name for themselves by taking small budgets and turning them into huge profits, relatively speaking. And this film that we're gonna watch tonight was their breakout hit. Opening in 2006 to only 441 screens nationwide, Facing the Giants found itself reaching 12th place at the box office. That's huge, especially for a tiny, unknown Christian production company on a budget of only $100,000. Truly, this film was just as much of an underdog story behind the scenes as it was on screen. What was it about this film that caught people's attention? What made it the sleeper hit that was changing lives everywhere? Does it truly live up to the hype? We will find out together. So grab your chicken wings and let's get ready for some Christian football! So the movie begins at a high school football game, aka a typical Friday night in any given southern town. As we see what I assume is the team that we're supposed to care about, playing a football game, and not very well.
The Eagles will have to go for them.
The Eagles, one of 3 approved mascots for Christian schools. We learn that the coach isn't very good, or the team isn't very good. Either way, everybody's losing right now.
Jacob's going to try to tuck it in wrong, and he's going to be taken down at the 40-yard line, stopped there by Lewis Slaughter.
Lewis Slaughter always takes people out.
If he'd only had a few seconds more to throw the football, this game might have had a different outcome.
If only the Eagles had a higher score than the other team, this game would have had a completely different result.
Thus ending Coach Grant Taylor's bid for his first winning season in 6 years. Now he'll have to wait until next season for that all-elusive winning record. That's if they let him come back next year.
What sad, crazy world is this that somebody's job would be on the line just because they're not good at it? Where is this shadow coming from? Ah, did they just take my picture? Then we find out that the best player on the Eagles is transferring to another school, and the coach is not happy.
I can't believe that!
This better be a joke.
Nope.
I know it can get pretty confusing about what's a joke and what isn't a joke in these movies that you direct, Mr. Kendrick.
A player can't just transfer to another school to play football. He's got to make a change of address.
He did.
You have to change your address to transfer out of a private school?
This is the 3rd time this has happened. Why? Because at the end of the season, nobody wants to be on TV going, "We're number 6, baby."
Hey, that's not fair. They would never put our players on TV.
Just had to go there, didn't you?
Wonk, wonk, wonk.
I got word this morning that Darren did transfer to Tucker.
Well, The team is pretty disheartened about losing that player that we never got to know.
There's more to a good football team than a running back. If anything, this ought to push you to take up the slack.
Wickety wickety whack. Then it turns out the whole team is pregnant. Oh wait, no, that's the wife, and she isn't pregnant. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my facts straight. And then the car breaks down. This guy can't catch a break.
Why don't we get a new battery?
Wait, it's just the battery? Well, go buy a new one.
Do you want me to take a look at it for you?
Stop it.
Women don't know about cars.
Oh, sweetheart.
Brent, I don't know what that smell is. I scrub everything I can. I don't even know where it's coming from.
Well, did you take a shower?
Darren transferred to Tucker.
What? He did not.
All right. These accents are pretty tough to deal with. And that's not to say they're not authentic, because they are. Extremely authentic.
Ooh, I bet the boys are frustrated.
How many times have I told you to throw away the boxes of your girly things?
Did you think you were pregnant?
I don't know. I just want to be pregnant so bad that my mind plays tricks on me. Would you be opposed to me going to see a specialist?
A special impregnator?
Okay.
I'll allow it.
Thought we were having spaghetti tonight.
Cook me spaghetti.
Stove's not working?
You're kidding me.
You broke the stove? You have one job.
So we got a leak in the back room. The dryer only works half the time. The car's dying on us, and now the stove's broken.
I love you.
Well, that's not enough for me, okay? Whoa, what's happening at the bottom of the screen? I think it's being taken over by amateur After Effects users. So many different drop shadows.
The Richland
Oh, look, it's the girl from Fireproof. Oh, I forgot to mention in my Christian Mingle review, so I'll mention it here, but she was in Christian Mingle for a little bit, which means she's appeared on Movie Night as many times as Kurt Cameron. So, congratulations?
I'm here with head coach Bobby Lee Duke of the Giants. Coach Duke, how does this year look for...
You know what would be funny is if he's sucking on a sucker during the interview.
I don't care who you are, this is funny.
Alice, we've grown real fond of the state title.
I'm having a hard time deciphering which ones are supposed to be the funny redneck characters and which ones are just the normal characters, mainly because they all sound like rednecks and none of them are funny.
Get off the tracks, because the freight train's coming.
That's right, get on down to Freight Train Furniture Liquidator Warehouse. Everything must go. Tell them Freight Train Joe sent you. Yeah, go football, sports, woohoo. What's happening right now? I mean, I know we see football happening right now, but what? We're just gonna get some generic looking shots from the sideline then? Oh, it's showing us the scoreboard. Great, that's some great exposition. Look, guys, you know in football movies, like real ones, they're not just pointing the camera at people playing football. They actually choreograph and plan out those plays. You got shots on the field and characters talking to each other and tension going on. Got my picture taken again. Anyway, they lose the game.
I hope that's not a sign of the way the rest of the season's gonna go, Coach.
And why do you have to say that?
This happens to everybody. Don't be embarrassed about it.
Well, it doesn't happen to everyone. Let's be realistic here. Despite how it may seem in Albany, Georgia, not everyone in the world is a high school football coach. Is he walking on cello strings?
Would it not be better just to get a small new car?
You know we can't afford that.
Well, maybe if you guys are having financial trouble, you should stop paying for name brand coffee.
Other people make more than $24,000 a year.
You make $6,000, that takes us to 30.
Whoa, he should be teaching math.
Hey, there's other bills we don't normally have to pay.
What?
Like my doctor bill.
What did she say?
She said that I'm fine. It doesn't mean the problem is with you.
What else could it mean?
You still hoping we'll have a baby?
What? Why are you guys trying to have a baby if you can't even afford a car? Do you know how much those things cost? You gotta pay for gas, oil changes, unexpected repairs.
Are you afraid of getting checked out?
Yes.
I'm afraid of what they're gonna do to me down there.
I'm still clinging to a hope that one day we'll have children. I imagine them running in this house. I hear them playing in the backyard, running to our bed in a thunderstorm, reading them stories, and teaching them songs. And I just keep thinking, how can I miss someone so much that I have never met?
I'll go.
I'll let them check out my little football team. Wow, she's really manipulative, but effective, I'll give her that.
Stanley.
Oh, come on.
Stanley, do you want to tell me what you're doing on the top of my desk?
Ralph! Is there something you want, Ralph?
No,
Do you have any idea how you got on top of my dad?
I was just watching Facing the Giants, and then I must have fallen asleep.
Taylor, that the reason why you're late for practice today is because you've been sitting in detention.
Oh, come on, Miss Carter, that was some serious humor.
Well, for this movie,
55? 57.
highest grade in the class.
So basically, we got the toughest schedule we ever had and less talent than we ever had. Nah, we'll pull 3 or 4 out. That'll give us another average season.
I'm so sick of average seasons.
Why doesn't he transfer to another school? Or get a completely different career? I mean, he's clearly not good at this one. He could probably just go deliver pizzas and make what he's making right now. Those jobs are available, believe me. I see Domino's advertising now hiring all the time. Or his wife could go get a job. I mean, geez, what is she doing that makes her only $6,000 a year? Delivering pizzas?
Got a doctor's appointment.
For what? He's going to the hair doctor. You hadn't noticed that whole underdeveloped region right up in here? Black man goes bald. He still looks good. Look at Michael Jordan.
Oh, great, another comedy bit from the people who brought you this.
Hey, you look good.
Then we cut over to only a boy named David, who has never played football before, but he does kind of want to try out. He spent much of his time training in a field, but not particularly to play football, though they are skills that could come in handy. But he certainly has never faced giants before. Are you getting the metaphor yet? But he's convinced to try out for the football team by his apple-loving father, who's only able to communicate to him through life lessons.
You can't get any more not on the team than you are right now.
All right, Dad, I guess you technically caught me in a grammatical entanglement. Whoop-de-doo. Then this guy comes up to the assistant coach with a dark, sinister, actually pretty reasonable proposition.
We really want to see this school succeed with our football program, and we don't ever see that happening while Coach Taylor is here. You just think about it.
David wanted to know if it was too late to try out for the team.
You a football player?
I've always played soccer, but...
Well, I ain't never heard of soccer, but is that some sort of Yankee sport?
Okay, well, I got a pretty good kicker, but I don't mind letting you try out.
In fact, you both could try out if you'd like.
This is David Childers.
Oh, come on. You're not gonna go with the last name Shepard? Is that too on the nose for you?
Why don't you two go out there and try a few kicks just to get your feet wet a little bit?
All right, sure.
Coach thinks all the kickers should have wet feet. It's probably why we keep losing. And where would a classic sports film be without a training montage? Now, normally this is done in a different part of the movie, but this film changes it up and does it with a character that we neither know or care about.
Matt, let's go.
No, Dad. I'll be home later.
Matt!
Wow, that kid's really disrespectful. Must have gotten it from his father.
That old man still come every week to pray in the hallway?
Been praying for revival since before I got here.
Think you should go ahead and let David Childers on the team.
You see something there?
He's just used to playing soccer. He ain't that strong, but...
Strong butt? Maybe he got that from playing soccer butt.
He shows promise.
I mean, he did have a sports training montage during practice today, though it was over a pretty wussy song. Now we cut over to some more B-roll. All right. And they once again lose a game. Nice edit.
Someone tell me how we lost to Dewey County 21-7.
They got more points than us?
Dewey County hasn't beaten Shallow since you were in kindergarten.
And for some of you, that was 20 years ago.
I don't know what you call that junk out there, but it sure wasn't football.
Oops, we were all playing soccer, but...
You gave the game away!
And you wonder why I don't like sports. Seriously, if someone was yelling at me like that, I would just leave.
And you can't learn the plays when you miss practice because you're sitting in detention!
Assault on a minor!
If we're not here to win football games, then why are we here?
Man, that guy is a real jerk. Kinda glad all these bad things are happening to him. Then we cut over to David talking to his dad.
So are you ready to play in the game?
Dad, I know you're trying to set me up for some sort of life lesson. Could you just speak directly to me?
I've asked God, since you were a baby, that he would show how strong he is in your life.
And why would he make me so small? And weak?
Are you getting the metaphor yet? We worked really hard on it.
To show how mighty he is.
God will show you how mighty he is by making your life's greatest achievement be your high school football career. Then the dad tries to stand up.
Dad, what were you doing?
You missed a spot up there. I was just trying to take a swing at it.
I was just trying to teach you a life lesson. I almost died because you just couldn't understand it.
Then we cut to Grant seeing the doctor.
Grant, first you need to realize this is a fairly common problem for men. There are thousands of couples who are unable to have children.
You might be shooting a movie, But you're also shooting blanks, Grant. I do realize this comes at an awkward time, seeing as how you're shooting a sports film, and this has nothing to do with that.
The other option is to adopt a child.
But those pesky adoption agencies always want to check your financial security. It's ridiculous.
But at least you and your wife can make the best decision now that you know where you are.
What's the point of having constant unprotected relations with my hot blonde wife if it doesn't mean I'm running the risk of ending up with more mouths to feed? So Grant contemplates the sadness of this new information as he hangs out at the high school with Hey Steve.
Hey, Steve.
I'll get you, hey Steve, if it's the last thing I do.
Then he overhears some crucial information for the plot.
If Shiloh can invest in a winning coach, we don't need to be settling for second best.
Second best? That's a laugh.
Alvin, he's a good man. I'm not saying he's not a good man. I'm saying he's not a good coach.
And I'm not personally attacking the coach. I'm just saying I want my son to have the best football program possible.
These are all reasonable arguments. Does all reason have to go out the window just because something's Christian? That's a rhetorical question. I already received my answer in the comment section of my God's Not Dead review.
Then other times I think he's doing just as good as anyone else would in this situation.
Is this a dream sequence? Why is everybody so echoey? And that's how he became a Batman villain. Now Grant has to go home and tell his wife how he's been emasculated today, in more ways than one.
What's going on?
Brooke, they're pushing him to get rid of me. They said I wasn't capable of winning.
We're making a good movie.
They can't make Dan fire you. You still got support.
And if it's one thing your films have taught the world, it's that as long as you keep getting support, you don't have to be good.
They've just lost confidence in me.
It's like they don't even think I'm a real man.
Brooke, I've tried so hard. I'm a failing coach with a losing record.
Maybe you should just leave me for Kirk Cameron.
We can't have our own children because of me.
Okay, now cut to a long shot of you both fake crying. Perfect. But then, Grant and his wife, having been brought down to the lowest of low that a middle-class white family can get in Albany, Georgia, begin to pray. And then we have what I like to call a field moment. Oh, what's a field moment? It's that part in every Christian movie where the main character has been brought to the end of their rope, and so they have their moment with God, which turns everything around. Apparently in Kendrick Brothers films, this has to happen in the middle of a field. Now in real films, this is usually called Deus Ex Machina, which is Latin for God in the machine. Basically, it's an unsatisfying moment in the film when the main characters don't actually solve their own problems. Like in War of the Worlds when, spoiler alert, the aliens die because they got sick and not because the humans actually protected themselves. Or at the end of Disney's Robin Hood, whenever we're told that King Richard returned and he just fixed everything? What? Now usually in films this is frowned upon. It's considered a cop-out, but in Christian movies, it's par for the course.
If the Lord never gives us children, will you still love him?
See, now that's a good question. In fact, this film kind of sets up this idea quite a bit. And if they would run with that concept, then this could potentially be a decent film. Do they though? Well, let's find out. More sideline football B-roll, and then that kid that we don't really know very well takes the field.
This is your field goal. Put us on the board.
And messes everything up. What an idiot. You've disappointed your father and your coach.
And your heavenly father, don't forget him.
Well, assistant coach Brady is approached once again after this tragic loss.
You got a chance to step in and take over this program and carry it up for a while.
You've got an opportunity to be the head coach of this crappy high school football team and earn $24,000 a year. Don't you think that's worth betraying your friend over? But Coach Grant overhears it and steps in.
He's got it.
I'm just gonna go.
You determine what side you want to be on and stay on it.
And I thought I was the one who needed to grow a pair. Then Mr. Bridges, the guy who prays over the lockers, comes in to tell the coach something.
God will send the rain when he's ready. You need to prepare your field to receive it.
Honey, prepare the field. Then we have the classic sitting on or against the bed montage that every Christian film seems to have.
$10 for the person who can tell me who won the state championship a decade ago.
I can't afford to buy a new battery for my car, but I'm willing to risk $10 for this weak analogy.
North Metro.
Stop guessing, you know it or you don't.
Well, whoever it is, I bet their coach's job isn't on the line.
Can't remember, can you? What's the purpose of this team?
Win ball games.
Then what?
We get a trophy, and people talk about us.
Then what?
And then?
No and then!
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 And then?
The more I read this book, the more I realize life's not about us.
It's about God and how much He wants you to play football.
So you think God does care about football?
I think He cares about your faith. If you can live your faith out on the football field, then yes, God cares about football because He cares about you.
Well, what if losing a football game is the one thing that will make my faith stronger? Well, no, I'm not saying that. Winning football games is the one way God can bless us.
We've got to honor Him in our relationships, in our respect for authority, and when you're at home alone surfing the internet.
Kyle. Okay, I'll be honest with you guys, I seriously thought that the film was over at this point. I thought they would play the last game and then lose and then realize that winning wasn't nearly as important as doing the right thing. Then I looked at the timestamp and realized that I'd only been watching for 40 minutes, so I took a break.
Show me something, 10 yards, move it, move it!
So then the team actually starts to practice.
You gonna give me your best?
I'm gonna give you my best.
You know, Jeremy is the real hero in all this. I mean, that is not easy to do. Look at those arms. That's some amazing core strength right there. Then things get really intense really fast.
Come on, run! 2 more! 1 more!
You just carried a 140-pound man across this whole field on your arms.
He called me a man?
What is it, Jeremy?
I weigh 160.
What? You weigh 160? Well, then we're gonna lose that weight right now. Come on!
Come on!
You need a ride, Matt?
No, my dad's coming. At least he better be.
I feel like you owe your dad more respect.
You don't know him like I know him. All he does is boss me around. He doesn't even try to understand me.
You're not responsible for him, you're responsible for you.
You really believe in all that honoring God and follow Jesus stuff? Not everybody believes in that. But I'm just here because I got kicked out of Westview.
I guess it's probably pretty hard to find people who are willing to be in a Christian movie for free, who look like a football player and can act.
I do hope one day you realize how much he loves you.
Then the coach figures out what the heck was making the house stink.
Stop being a frick. Come here. Just look at him.
No.
He looks like a big hamster. See his cute little eyes there? See his teeth. Look at his teeth. Almost looks like he's mad.
That's cute. Whoa, did we just see genuine personality in this film? So the words of the coach did have an effect on Matt, and he comes to Christ. Subsequently, he feels convicted to go make up with his dad, in a scene that I genuinely can't watch without feeling a little emotional.
I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the way I've been acting.
For what it's worth, I'd give my right arm to hear my son say that to me.
Then the rest of the season is encompassed in this montage to a Third Day song, which isn't a ripoff of Hootie and the Blowfish or anything, I swear.
Sometimes you're crazy, they wonder why I'm such a baby.
So apparently Matt's dad was just as moved as I was by his son's apology and decides to do something nice.
Grant Taylor, somebody done gave you a new truck.
Not a word to anyone.
Or I'll kill you.
Yes, sir.
Now this scene really tugs at the heartstrings. I mean, it's so touching. Then after that emotion wears off, it leaves me with a lot of questions. Like, isn't this the dad who we have been set up to dislike throughout all of this? Was he always this super nice guy who was willing to buy a vehicle for someone else, but he was just waiting on his son to fix his behavior? I mean, like the boy said,
You don't know him like I know him.
you're right. We don't! Another Third Day song. Really? I mean, I guess The Graduate had 2 Simon and Garfunkel songs that they played over and over again. So, you get a pass facing the Giants. So now that they're playing football for God, they start winning games. Having nothing, of course, to do with the fact that they started practicing more and started believing in themselves. Then they make it to the playoffs. But they lose. Well, this is the first big trial that the Eagles have come up against since their big school revival. I can't wait to see how differently they respond now that they've changed so much. Let's cut over to check out their godly reaction.
I knew we were gonna get killed tonight.
Oh. I guess God's still got some more work to do in them.
Your effort was good tonight. You've got nothing to be ashamed of.
I mean, other than the little temper tantrum that you guys all just threw.
Guys, Coach is right. We're gonna praise God when we win. We're gonna praise Him when we lose.
But we're not gonna be happy about it.
Part of me wanted to get to state.
That'd take an act of God.
Has he not been acting already?
Do you know who's going to be waiting for whoever gets to state?
The Richland Giants.
That's right, the Richland Giants.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that if they would have made it to the championship, they would have been facing the Giants? Whoa, spoiler alert.
But then the coach gets a miraculous phone call with some miraculous news.
I want you to know I serve a big God, and he can do whatever he wants to do. And a team that plays for his honor and glory will have his blessings following that team.
Guaranteed.
They have been disqualified, and we're advancing to the next round.
That's right, we're going to the championship on a technicality.
Woohoo! Praise the Lord! Then the wife goes to the doctor to see if she's pregnant, but it's negative.
But wait, turns out that the not pregnancy has been disqualified. I mean, the charts have been mixed up. Whoops!
My goodness, you'll be dead within a month.
What?
Oh, Hagar the Horrible, if you keep up that lifestyle of pillaging and giant turkey legs, you'll be dead within a month. Now, on to you.
I'm gonna go get slobbering drunk. Wait, oh gosh, wait! Oh, I made a horrible mistake.
I will take responsibility for this. It was my mistake.
I think I'll make a stupid face. Now it's the day of the big game.
And whether we leave the field the victors or not, we will give God the glory. Who will go fight the giants with me?
Fighting the Giants. Hey, that's not the name of the movie.
We're the evil team. See how our uniforms are black?
Then we finally get some play-by-play by the announcers. And what a charming couple. So basically they play football, then they have halftime.
They're big, but they're also predictable. We can't outrun them. We can outsmart them.
Whoa. You're telling me that the other team is even dumber than these guys? Have you seen their grades?
Then they play some more football. Then the coach reminds them that football isn't the most important thing by telling them,
For the rest of your life, you will remember today. I want you to remember that you held nothing back. You did not lose heart. You did not stop fighting. You did not quit.
Never give up. Never surrender.
We will not go quietly into the night. The enemy outnumbers a paltry 3-1. We've got too far.
A day may come when the courage of men fails, but it is not this day.
We can break this army here. But I say to you, what every warrior has known since the beginning of time.
If you would be free men, then you must
Fight to fulfill that promise.
And they will know what we can do.
This is your time.
Let's fly.
That they may take our lives, but they'll never take our Independence Day. The victory!
40, and he'll be run out of bounds.
then things get down to the wire.
With 2 seconds left on the clock, the Eagles have got a shot at this football game.
But what's he gonna do?
I need a 51-yard field goal.
Coach, I can't kick that far.
I believe you can. Your job is to do
A 51-yard field goal? What is this, the NFL?
I need you on that field.
Are you getting the metaphor? Then Grant uses the force to get the other coach to call a timeout.
Call a timeout, Bobby Lee. Call that timeout.
Call a timeout.
And now, the moment that everybody saw coming.
Can I help you? Don't touch me. I'm standing for my son. Kick is up. It's on its way. It's long enough. It's high enough. Does it have the distance? It does.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so they win. Great. I feel like the film has completely lost direction as to what it was trying to say in the first place. Movie, look, I know that you really want to make the David and Goliath metaphor work, but it doesn't. There are just many, many significant differences between a football game and the biblical story of David and Goliath that cannot be ignored. Are you trying to tell me that the football field in modern day is equal to the significance of the battlefield in the day of Israel? Are you trying to tell me that this other football team is the same as Goliath, the guy who was sent out to bully, murder, and enslave an entire people group? The other team is doing exactly what they're supposed to do, which is play a football game. And in comparison, the truth is, God does not care about football. Isn't that supposed to be the point of the film? You've said it in the film a million times.
And whether we leave the field the victors or not, we will give God the glory.
It's not about winning, it's about being the person that you're supposed to be in real life, despite your circumstances. But you've totally discredited all of that because now you're saying that God is there
to help you win football games. But wait, is there time for one more blessing?
That you've made the team.
What team?
the daddy team.
Yes! He got everything he ever wanted! Yay! Yet another Third Day song? I'm kidding. I know it's casting crowns. But let me use this opportunity that I've never had before to mention that this song has always annoyed me because there's a grammatical error in it. It says, I will choose to listen and believe. You don't listen the voice of truth, you listen to the voice of truth. So it should be, I will choose to listen to and believe the voice of truth. Thank you for letting me get that off my chest. So there you have it, Facing the Giants. And was it the worst film ever made? Well, no. In fact, it had some good stuff in it. I would have to say it was even better than their follow-up film, Fireproof, which I was surprised because I thought that they would have improved in time. I mean, it had a much more coherent arc that felt a little closer to a story than just a sermon. The jokes were a little more natural, the main character was a little more relatable, and there were some genuinely emotional scenes. But Fireproof isn't the standard that I hold Christian movies up to on the show, is it? The real question here is, was this film worthy of the 10 years of praise or the $10 million it drew in at the box office? No. This movie is so bad, it's horribly acted, the script is so poorly constructed, there are so many other versions of the same exact storyline, but done way better, that this one seems so pointless and a waste of time and money. But Kevin, you may not think that the quality of this film was all that great, even though I think that it's the best Christian film ever made. The fact of the matter is, it's not about that. It's about a good message, and at least it's getting a good message out there. What message? What are you talking about? The message that bad things happen unless you trust God, and then good things happen? That's a horrible message because that's a lie. Why do Christian movies keep doing this? Why are they so afraid to just tell the truth? It's like if I had a friend and I wanted them to come over and play video games with me, but I thought that they wouldn't want to come over just on the merit of me alone. So I tell them that I've got Twinkies and hot dogs at my house, and they're like, okay, sure, I'll come over. And then they come over and I don't have Twinkies and hot dogs, and then they're like, hey, where's the Twinkies and hot dogs? And I'm like, I lied. And they're like, well, I was gonna come over anyway, but now I want to leave because you lied to me. Of course, I understand that this is a film, and you want to see the hero win in a film, but the movie established early on that winning the game isn't the goal, that the goal is to see a deep heart change. That's true winning. How much better would this movie have been if they were smiling and happy and praising God and shaking the hands of the Giants after losing the championship game? Wouldn't that have been the true victory? But instead, by twisting the movie around and making it seem like God actually cares about football and the results of the game, or that God is going to reward you with the things that you always wanted as soon as you accept that you don't actually want them, you're discrediting everything you've taught in the film. Before I went into this film, I was actually pretty ready to be nice to it. I mean, it's an underdog film, but you don't need a big budget to write a good script. I mean, look at the film Rocky. Sylvester Stallone wrote that script on one of those black notebooks in a coffee shop with a pencil over a weekend. The point is, I could say that this is pretty good for a Christian film, but that's not what I do here. And in a world where football films are extremely competitive, this one brings absolutely nothing new to the table. And why didn't they lose at the end? Just doesn't make sense when you have a movie whose message is literally, it's not about winning, and then you have your main character win. Clearly we have our answer. This is not the great Christian football film that I've been looking for. Maybe we'll have better luck next time. Until then, I'm Kevin, holding Christian films up to the same standard as other movies. Good night. Well guys, what a kickoff. I made that joke earlier, didn't I? Anyway, what an awesome, exciting kickoff to Movie Night Football. Thanks so much for watching this. Big shout out to Brendan Neely. Every single month, he pledges $50 a month to my Patreon, which is patreon.com/saygoodnightkev. If you guys like the show, then I would ask that you consider helping me out a little bit there to keep bringing you guys fun videos. If you do like the show, and this is your first time watching it, then you can watch other episodes. I've got them linked right over here. Also, coming up on the next episode, probably in 2 weeks, is the goal. We will be doing another football film, just came out on DVD, called Woodlawn. So mark your calendars, don't forget to join us for that, and we will have a lot of fun with that. Probably all I gotta say now. I've said a lot. Talk to you guys later. Good night.
I don't know what you call that junk out there, but it sure wasn't football!